All right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and I just want to say a couple things. First of all, I understand what it is like to be critical of Sean Payton because I was very critical of him yesterday when I made my recap video talking about him and how I was very disappointed at how he managed this game. I thought it was very bizarre that our offensive game plan consisted of nothing except for screen passes at certain points. I really did not like that the offense went completely limp dick in overtime. I didn't like how they went completely limp as well in the first half, besides the opening drive. You decide to take the ball after you win the coin toss. So, you know what that tells me? That tells me that we're going to be aggressive on the offensive side of the ball and, whatever. And we're just going to go toe to toe and try to win in a shootout, which I don't think the thought process was bad. But if you're going to do that, you got to follow through with that. I understand being critical of him, of those things. I did not like the screen pass to Javonte in overtime. I thought that was absolutely ludicrous considering how well Jaleel McLaughlin was doing. I didn't like the fact that they went away from Jaleel McLaughlin in a lot of situations. And yeah, it is fine to be critical of that. And all of that is completely valid. But at the end of the day, you have to be realistic. And the fact that some people are calling for Sean Payton's job and people are just being like, okay, throwing up a middle finger to Sean Payton, like, you have to be realistic because the Broncos, they are not in this position without him or without his play calling even. And listen, it is very rare for a quarterback that is a rookie to lead a hyper efficient offense. Usually, even if the rookie is good, it is more likely that we are going to get an explosive offense, not an efficient one. Now, I think a lot of the frustration comes with the fact that the Broncos in midseason, anytime they drop back, you thought they were going to complete the pass, and Nix was hyper efficient. We barely went 3 and out, and now we're going 3 and out at the third or second worst rate in the league over the past month, only ahead of the New York Giants. So that's really bad. But listen, Sean Payton, he is getting way too much hate, and I wish the Broncos fan base would rally around him because he came into this year with everybody in the NFL saying, oh, he's coping with the fact that he had to draft the, 6th quarterback and the 12th overall at the 12th overall slot. He's coping with the fact that he's a Drew Brees merchant. He's washed. He shouldn't have gotten this job. He only took this job because, the Broncos threw a bunch of money at him. And I just wish the fan base would rally around him a little bit because we are not in this position without him. So we have this tweet from Sister Thickness. F Sean Payton, give up the play calling, you stupid, senile, whatever. 5,000 screens a game, you let Bo rip it, and you went 70 yards in 70 seconds and tied the game. Then you want to go back to the same whatever and be 3rd and 12 every drive. Enough is enough. Listen, I agree that the Broncos need to be better and more efficient on their early downs because that's something that they were doing really well at in the middle of the year, and that's something they have not done a good job lately. But listen, you got to realize that part of that is due to the fact that this Broncos team, they are not built to win games whatsoever. They're not built to win games. That's just what happens when $50 million of your salary cap is starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you don't have the money to spend on, potential depth guys who could really contribute instantly. And I understand that they are going to add a lot of pieces this offseason. They're going to add probably a tight end. They're probably going to add a running back, maybe even 2. And, wide receiver is kind of a coin flip. But, yeah, this is just kind of the result of Sean Payton not having a lot to work with. And ultimately, it's still a work in progress because we have a rookie quarterback. We have a lot of young weapons besides Courtland Sutton. But, yeah, so searching Sean Payton, that's what Sean Payton gets not going for 2. And from what I understand, everyone wanted to go for 2. Sean Payton's choice.
On today.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to play the sound there. But everyone wanted to go for 2. It doesn't matter what the team wants because ultimately, I agree with the process of not going for 2 because guess what? It worked out. Cincinnati punted the ball to you not once but twice in overtime. And if you get at least 1 first down in that situation, the game is probably at least a tie. And the offense just cannot, go as limp as it did. Completely valid to criticize Nix and Sean Payton for that. But listen, not going for 2, like everybody's always going to say that the other outcome was better. I would have respected either decision, truthfully, but I get where Sean Payton was coming from, and ultimately, it ended up being the right decision. I might get hate for saying that, but, it was the right decision because Cincinnati punted the ball to you twice, and the defense was starting to ramp up in towards the end of the game because Patrick Surtain had that play where he knocked the ball out, and, I know they did give up that touchdown, but that doesn't happen without the short field from the Bo Nix INT. And, just a bunch of other things kind of fell in Cincinnati's way. But the pass rush was really, really starting to get after Burrow, and I think that was something that Sean Payton had factored in. And guess what? They dropped him twice in overtime. So, people have been critical about that. I think a little less critical than I was expecting. But, a lot of people say you should have gone for 2. I don't disagree, but I get why people are going for this. Like, Frankie, I really like him. I think he's good. I'm a huge Sean Payton supporter. He played like a major coward in this one. It might cost his team the playoffs. 4th and 2 from their 8 to start the game. Settles for the field goal. You know what? I can kind of agree with the validity of thinking that they should have gone for it on the opening drive. And, if they don't convert, they still be complaining. I mean, I don't know. Aggressive. I don't know. Whatever. But I'm not going to focus on that one too much. I actually don't think that tweet is that bad. Sean Payton needs to take a hard, long look at his OT play calling. Yeah, I agree. And guess what? The theme of this video is basically that you can criticize a guy and you can be critical of a guy without calling for his job. You ain't going to stop Joe Burrow. Are you kidding me? Rex Ryan thought they should have gone for 2.
Coach, I'm starting.
So once again, didn't mean to play that audio. But guess what? They did stop him. They did stop him twice. And yeah, I don't know. Never seen a great head coach like Sean Payton get fired so badly. Yeah, I 1000% agree with this one because you have to remember where we were before Sean Payton. Like, do you not remember that almost 2 years ago at this point, we lost to a Baker Mayfield-led Rams team, like 51-7 or whatever it was? You got a young team playing without most money, be aggressive, and win these games. Instead, we were trying our best not to lose. I don't think we were trying not to lose. I just think that the offense couldn't execute. Sean Payton watching Riley Moss trying to cover T. Higgins, yeah, that was bad. I hope Sean Payton watched KOC's play calling in that specific situation. Agreed. Play for the win or draw 25. I just, I go back and forth with that one, but I truly don't think that he was like scared, playing scared or something like that. Fire Sean Payton, and no, I'm not overreacting. This is really tough because this is one of the leaders of our Twitter space, Mile High Mims or whatever this guy's name was, and he said, you'll notice that this tweet was posted at 6:01 Mountain Time, so that was like right after the game. And then 3 hours later, he says, yes, I've calmed down. This is an overreaction. Thanks, y'all. I agree that it's been an emotional couple days. And yeah, Drunk on Broncos got this right. This loss was on coaching. But once again, fire Sean Payton. I don't know. We'll see. I think that the replies were just absolutely ripping this guy up. Pair up John Gruden with Bo Nix. I literally cannot think of a worse idea. Big to admit, this is the worst take on the internet. Fire that piece of whatever. I never want a screenplay the rest of my life. I agree, too many screenplays, but do not agree with the first part of this whatsoever. Yeah. By far one of the dumbest things. I'm ashamed to share fandom with you. What an idiot take. I can't stand Sean Payton as a person, but he has performed a minor miracle to take this talent, efficient bunt and schemed up a total mid-level QB prospect to get them to the doorstep of the playoffs. You know what? This guy also kind of hit the nail on the head. Whether or not you can stand Sean Payton as a person, I understand if you're a fan of the Minnesota Vikings or the Atlanta Falcons, I understand why you don't like him. But ultimately, it has been a really, really masterful job of what he's done over the past 2 years. Sorry, but that is an overreaction. Without him, this team wins 4 games max. I agree. There's a reason this team was projected to be a 5.5 win team coming into the year. And Vegas, they are not as sharp with futures as they are with individual matchups, but it still says a lot that, they projected this Broncos team to win 5.5 games. His obsession with screens has killed so many games. Protecting his young QB and the screens have worked. I mean, they've kind of been hit or miss. Have you watched the last 9 years? Stop overreacting. Bo Nix without Sean Payton. Somebody has a picture of Paxton Lynch. And hire who? Hackett, McDaniel. What weapons does their offense have until you get rid of Wilson's dead cap? You'll be on an even playing field. The NFL is scripted. The Broncos have no run game. Yeah, I agree. And, somebody kind of hit the nail on the head with this one, with this tweet. JMX Sports said Sean Payton called a bad game. That's true. You know what else is true? He changed the culture, drafted two amazing draft classes, nailed free agency for 2 straight off seasons, locked up young elite players on good deals long term, drafted probably our franchise quarterback, and we will still most likely make the playoffs. So I don't know this Mile High Mims dude. He's one of the leaders of Broncos Twitter space. I think he's a great dude, and he did admit that he was wrong. And it is nice to see the Broncos fan base come to the defense of Sean Payton. But I wish that the Broncos fan base would be more unified when it comes to the defense of Sean Payton, because you already know if they miss the playoffs, the entire narrative is going to be that Sean Payton's a Drew Brees merchant. But what he has done this year and what he's done the past 2 years, hold on, let me show you. Change the culture. Agreed, this was a losing culture. This was a team that had lost the most one-possession games since the 2017 to 2023 era of the NFL. And, that ultimately confirms that something systematically was going on within the locker room. And the fact that they really couldn't, claw and scratch their way to victory in those games says a lot. Now, there is still work to be done because they haven't really won against the real contenders this year, but they are still headed in the right direction. I don't know how any Broncos fan could look at this team and be like, no, they're not headed in the right direction. They're absolutely headed in the right direction, in my opinion. Drafted two amazing draft classes. I wouldn't go with amazing, but we have a lot of holes on our team filled from this. Oh yeah, and by the way, this last point here is the most important one. Probably our franchise quarterback. Yeah, he's a part of this, and it has been absolutely incredible that it's something we were starved for. We've been starved for good quarterback play for 9 years now, or probably 10, since Manning wasn't even that good in the 2015 season. And ultimately, we've gotten it. We've gotten our best quarterback play in a decade, and the fact that Broncos fans aren't rushing to this guy's defense is, or in realizing, even in the heat of the moment, that even if things aren't going that well, we still are spoiled rotten with what we've gotten this year. Locked up young elite players on good deals long term. Yeah, I agree with this one as well, because you think about Patrick Surtain, there was no holdout, there was no funny business there. Same with Cooper, and ultimately, I hope that with these guys being extended and the guys that we're gonna have to give extensions to, like Bonitto, I hope there's no more funny business either. Meinerz was another one where nothing happened. The extension literally just came out of nowhere like that. So, oh yeah, another one. Nailed free agency for 2 straight off seasons. And listen, I get why everybody's critical of Sean Payton, and it's fine to be critical of him for, the in-game management yesterday. But you have to realize we are not in this position without him. We're not in this position without him. We are not in this position without his roster management. We are not in this position without his draft picks. We are not in this position without him, being the coach that he has been for the Denver Broncos over the past 2 years. And yes, there's still things to work on. There's still room to grow. There's still adjustments to be made. We can't keep calling screen passes like that. Screen pass to Javonte Williams in overtime is absolutely ridiculous. But listen, man, Sean Payton has done a masterful job. And I think most of Broncos country can recognize it. But listen, let's take a step back and just look at the bigger picture. And he has done an amazing job coaching this team. So yeah, that does it for me. Let me know what you guys think of the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.